Okay.
What now?
Okay, we'll get through it. (2023) Thank you. Finance Committee meeting. Not sure whose mics are working and whose aren't, but we'll press on. Just some housekeeping items. Anyone making comments under public comment, please approach the podium. Not sure if that mic is working. Apparently it's not. Please also make sure that your cell phones are either on mute or vibrate. And we do have an additional item today that will be, of course, in addition to the regular agenda, one additional item. So with that, I will call on the clerk to please read the first item on our agenda today.
Number 7A, renewal applications for existing city liquor licenses, retail, restaurant, limited retail, resort, bar and grill licenses, microbrewery, satellite distillery, special malt beverage, and winery permits filed with the city clerk's office.
Mr. Chair, Chris Jones, City Clerk. Before you is the annual renewal of liquor licenses for the city of Cheyenne. To note, we had the Dynasty Cafe did not turn in a renewal for their restaurant liquor license, so they are not on this list. The only license we have parked is the licenses for the Westby Edge. That'll move forward in a park status. It was brought to my attention this morning that the Doghouse, who holds a bar and grill, has closed their doors. I have not had any contact with them, so I don't know what their intentions will be, so I can't report on that today. The only request that I have for you all is, as you know, at the last council meeting, the transfer for the Port Richards license was completed to the Wyoming Horse Racing. So with that being said, they did apply for their renewal. Also, simultaneously with that process, we need to divide the question to pull that one out to be considered separately and to have that item voted down. And I'd stand for any questions.
Stand by for any questions. Questions from the committee? Hearing none. Comments from the public? Hearing none. Do I have a motion from the committee?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Comments from the committee? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion. Yes, sure.
Need a motion first, though, right? Yeah.
Which we have, and it has been seconded, so I'd entertain a motion to divide.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to divide the question to consider the renewal on these retail liquor licenses and the application for Port Richards separately. It has been, at the February 27th, 2023 City Council meeting, a transfer of the renewal retail liquor license for Port Richards to Horse Racing LLC, doing business as Horse Palace, was approved by the governing body. Therefore, the renewal application is not eligible for approval. So the motion to approve, I'll ask for any comments on the motion to approve Poor Richard's application.
Mr. Chair, you don't.
So
Okay, so is there a motion for Poor Richard's application?
Mr. Chair,
Yes,
motion to approve. Mr. Chair, I move to approve the retail liquor license application for Poor Richard's.
is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. So we are on the motion to approve the renewal application for Poor Richard's. Any comments on the renewal application for Poor Richard's? Hearing none. All those in favor of the renewal application for Poor Richard's, please signify by saying aye. Opposed?
No.
The renewal application for Poor Richard's has failed. Therefore, we are back on the main motion for the other renewals for city liquor licenses. Any further comments? All those in favor of the renewal applications for the other existing city liquor licenses, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? As no one's opposed to that, that item moves forward.
Just as opposed to liquor.
Okay. One other thing, and I should have said this at the outset, Dr. Aldridge will not be joining us today, either in person or virtually. So if in the event of a tie, the chair will break that tie. Next item, please.
Number 23I, 2023 to 2025 collective labor agreement between the city of Cheyenne and Cheyenne Firefighters Local Union number 279, International Association of Firefighters.
Staff report.
Good afternoon, Chair and Committee. John Copper, Fire Chief, Cheyenne Fire Rescue. Before you today is the 2023-2025 collective labor agreement that was negotiated on February 16th, 2023. This is a 2-year contract that outlines wages, rates of pay, and working conditions for the local 279 members. Nothing has changed since those fire negotiations were completed. I want to thank the union and the governing body for their continued commitment to understanding each other's needs. I respectfully request approval, and I'll stand for any questions.
Questions for Chief Copper? Hearing none. Comments from the public? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Is there a motion?
Oh, sorry. Excuse me. Do I have a motion from the committee?
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve. Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Comments from the committee?
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Escabel.
I'm really happy we went to a 2-year contract. Me too.
I can certainly echo that. And just on behalf of my colleagues, both on the finance committee and my colleagues on the governing body, really like to thank you for all of your hard work and the members of the leadership of the union, all the conversations that you had with the mayor leading up to these discussions. Certainly appreciate your hard work to the city attorney. So if there are no other comments, all those in favor of the collective labor agreement, please signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? That item moves forward. Next item, please.
Steve, we should spend more time on
Make up for all the years that we did.
Number 23J, professional services agreement between the city of Cheyenne, Cheyenne Board of Public Utilities, and McGee, Hearn and Pies LLP to provide financial and compliance auditing services for fiscal years ending June 30th, 2023 and 2024.
Staff report.
Good afternoon, Robin Lockman, City Treasurer. Before you is a 2-year contract between the city, the Board of Public Utilities, and MHP to perform the fiscal year audits for 2023 and 2024. The city's portion of the fiscal year 2023 audit will cost $88,175. This is an increase of $4,175 or 5% over the fiscal year 22 cost. And the fiscal year 24 audit will cost $92,675. I would like to also stress how fortunate we are to have a firm that is able and willing to perform the city's audit. With the current shortage of accountants right now, many CPA firms can't keep up with the demand of audits, and many government entities are having a difficult time finding a firm to do their audit. So, Stephanie Pickering, I see she's online and is available for questions, and I will stand for questions as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Robin. Stand by. Any comments or questions for our city treasurer?
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Roybal?
we have this as McGee Herd and Pies, which it has been for 1,000 years. Is there a legal business name now, MHP?
Mr. Chairman,
our
could
legal-
you- Oh, let her.
I was going to say, Mr. Chairman, our legal name is still McGee Herd and Pies LLP, but most commonly referred to as MHP in the community.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for Robin or Ms. Pickering? Any comments or questions from members of the public? Hearing none, do I have a motion from the committee?
Mr. Chairman, move to approve an amount not to exceed $96,175. Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Comments from the committee? Robin?
I added the 3,500. So I don't know if you want.
It's for 2 years, though.
Oh, that's my fault. So
Okay, so what was the first?
Oh,
Looks like the,
it's 88,175.
Plus
And the 7.
88,175.
okay, so it's been moved to approve a professional services agreement with MHP in the amount of $88,175 for the first year and $92,675 for 2024. All those in favor of this professional services agreement, please signify by saying aye.
What, just one quick question.
Yes.
So we've got 96,000 or 92,675. And it says plus 3,500 for if there's more than 3 federal programs.
Mhm.
Do we need to do this in the full amount?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman. So the full amount is those 2 amounts. And if we were to have more federal programs, it'll cost another $3,500 for each. So, but we don't know at this point.
Okay.
Right.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for the
So all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That item moves forward. Next item, please.
number 24D, consideration of bid number S-15-23 for an agreement between the city of Cheyenne and Inman Roofing Incorporated for the sanitation transfer station re-roof project, solid waste fund.
I'm multitasking today. Staff report, please.
Vicky Nemechek, Public Works. This is a re-roof project for the sanitation transfer station. There is a diagram attached, but I'll tell you that what we're re-roofing is the original building. We added a second tipping floor, fleet facility, loop shop basically, and recycle area. And those will not be re-roofed. They're not yet worn out. So we are just re-roofing the original portion of the building. And it's going to Inman Roofing, which was the lowest responsive bidder, which is $373,730 will be paid from the solid waste fund. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
Questions for Director Nemechek?
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Roybal?
Director Nemechek, what was the last time we had that?
Through you, Chair, I believe that is the original roof.
Which was in what year?
1990s.
1984.
That lasted a long time, longer than my roof at home. Any other comments or questions for Director Nemechek? Any comments or questions from members of the public? Hearing none, all those in favor of this bid? Oh, sorry, I don't know why I keep forgetting that today. Full moon, I guess.
Multitasking.
Do I have a motion from the committee?
Here, I move to approve in the amount not to exceed $373,730.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Comments or questions from the committee? Hearing none, all those in favor of the bid consideration, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? That item moves forward. Next item, please.
Number 24E, consideration to purchase 2 used SUVs for the City of Cheyenne Compliance Department, 2019 to 2022 optional 1% sales tax fund.
Staff report.
Thank you, Chairman, committee members, TJ Bartlebort, Purchasing Manager for the City of Cheyenne. Before you today is a consideration for the purchase of 2 used vehicles. This is a kind of a new practice we're going through. Your most recent recollection is probably when we used this process to approve the used purchase for a brush truck for the fire department. So today we are requesting your preemptive approval for the purchase of 2 vehicles, each in the amount of $35,000 for a total of $70,000 between the 2 units. Minimum specifications have been established. We're generally looking for a 2018 or newer with less than 50,000 miles. Small to mid-sized SUVs, which will be used by the compliance and building department for building inspectors. Looks like Eric is on and Marilyn is here also, but happy to answer any other questions that you have. Our intent is to shop locally with dealers that have a presence here in Cheyenne.
Thanks, TJ. Comments or questions for TJ?
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Roybal.
Hi, Scott Roybal, Howdy Motors.
Hi, sir. Pleasure to meet you.
Oh, wow. That was really good. TJ, I know you explained this when we did the brush truck, but can you just remind everyone for the record why we are utilizing this process compared to what we've done in the past?
Absolutely. Chairman, our request for the used purchase is based on the fact that the new vehicle market is taking upwards of 1 to 2 years for the delivery of vehicles, when we don't even know what those prices may be due to surcharge or escalator things that happen from now to when we receive those vehicles 2 years down the line. Our need is immediate, and therefore purchasing on the used market is our only way to make sure that we get these vehicle needs fulfilled now instead of in 2 years when we have a known cost at this time too. It also helps us fight inflation a little bit as well.
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Roybal.
This isn't a new practice. When I was a councilman in 96 through 2000, Don Beard, who the facility's named after, Norm from BOPU, would contact myself and other locals and salesmen to tell us, okay, we need this type of truck, you know, and it could be from here to here. And we'd run our wares down there and we would pick one and then purchase it then. So it's not like I say, we're not reinventing the wheel on this.
Great. And it's good that we're being proactive, I think.
Chairman, if I may.
Go ahead.
One more note to add, I forgot to mention that funding is available in the fifth penny account from the Mayor's Capital Equipment Fund. So funding is available for the purchase. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Escabel.
Those are as is warranties.
Right, it was still with warranty. Fair.
Chairman, through you to Councilman Escabel, we're not sure what warranties will be available at the time of purchase. It'll just be dependent on the year of the vehicle, the make of the vehicle, and the condition that it's in at the time. We might catch one that still has some manufacturer's warranty available. That would probably be our ultimate goal, is to find those that meet that requirement. But until we go do our shopping, we're not sure what will truly be available to us until we look. So
my condolences.
Okay. Any comments or questions from members of the public? Hearing none, do I have a motion from the committee?
Sure, I move to approve in the amount not to exceed $70,000.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Comments from the committee? Hearing none, all those in favor of this consideration to purchase, please signify by saying aye.
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 As no one's opposed, that item moves forward. Thank you, TJ. We have one additional item today. Go ahead and read that into the record, please.
Memorandum of agreement between the City of Cheyenne and the Downtown Development Authority, DDA, to provide professional and administrative services.
Staff report.
Stephanie Boster, Cheyenne City Attorney. I'm here on behalf of Charles Bloom, who had a meeting and could not be here. What you have before you is a memorandum of agreement between the City of Cheyenne and the Downtown Development Authority Board for the city to provide professional and administrative services to the Downtown Development Authority Board, and essentially to administer the DDA. It's a 2-year agreement. It's budget neutral. And the city has been working extensively with current DDA staff to put this agreement together. It was approved by the DDA board at 10 o'clock, around 10 o'clock on Friday. As we work through the budget process and kind of work through the transition, it may be amended, but this is the agreement before you today. And I'm available for questions.
Thank you, Stephanie. Comments or questions from the committee? Mr. Roybal.
Mr. Chair. Sorry. So we got back to the chair of truth, right?
True.
Okay. You say it's budget neutral, or do you? It's budget neutral. Are we going to be utilizing their funds to? Are we bringing any of their people on board with the city? So we'll be hiring them as a city staff.
Mr. Chairman, through you, it's budget neutral because currently we pay the city of Cheyenne pays $250,000 for Visit Cheyenne to administer the DDA. We will no longer do that. This document has $250,000 going from the city to the DDA board and then back to the city. That's what Charles is working on the budgeting for. In terms of the DDA staff, we will not be bringing any of them on board with us. I believe Charles's intent is to hire somebody to work for the DDA in the city of Cheyenne.
Sure. Thank you.
Other comments or questions for Ms. Boster?
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Escobar.
I know it might be a little early, but how will the administrations of their funds that are in their holding account?
Mr. Chairman, through you to Councilman Escobar. Part of the agreement with the DDA board is for the city to provide those administrative services. So we'll do that within the planning departments. I believe Valerie in Charles's office will be a part of the accounting for those funds. And the DDA staff has been working with the city on transitioning. We can't get signatory power on their bank account until this is official. So that's going to happen after Monday if this is approved. But part of what the city will be doing is administering those funds and accounting for them.
So then when follow up, Mr. Chair.
Go ahead.
When we go through the budget, will we have items for that, at least to show the balances in those accounts?
Mr. Chairman, through you to Councilman Escobar, definitely a question for Robin.
Welcome. We should put more than one chair out today.
Yeah, really.
Go ahead, Robin.
Robin
Want to get back up.
Robin Lockman, City Treasurer. So as far as I know right now, we are not going to take their funds. I mean, they're going to have their own bank accounts. It's not going to be city funds. So they have like $1.some million in their account. They're going to provide just an allocation to reimburse us for payroll expenses. So we will still provide whatever the council approves on their budget, the $250,000, which is currently provided. And then they're going to write us a check back to the city to reimburse us for payroll costs. Because they receive a mill levy from the county, and we cannot, as a city, they cannot send that to us.
Okay.
Hopefully that makes sense.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Roybal.
So the DDA is going to retain staff. They're going to, how many folks do they have working?
As far as I know, Mr. Chairman, through you, the staff that the DDA has now have all resigned, I believe. And so we're hiring all new staff, the city is.
Is that correct, Stephanie?
It is, yes.
Okay.
Any other comments or questions from the committee?
I'm sorry.
Oh, you're fine. Any comments or questions from members of the public? Councilman Laybourne.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Of course, I am not here as a member of the public. I am here as a downtown property and business owner. I am here as a member of the DDA board. And of course, I am also a member here of the city council. So this agreement was unanimously adopted by the Visit Cheyenne and DDA board, which basically closes out the relationship that was there in the previous memorandum, which called for a split board and a single approach. In my experience, the Visit Cheyenne did a great job with promotions and the events. But when it got into development actions, we found that there were significant problems in terms of the way that that DDA board was structured according to state law and city ordinance. So it was a choice that the Board of Visit Cheyenne made on November 11th to call for the termination of that agreement, which is gonna, I guess is the case right now until we approve this, but I speak very much in favor of this memorandum. It has a lot of flexibility. It's not going to be more bureaucratic issues, but I do want to point out that it does repeatedly refer to the DDA board as the responsible party in the management of this agency in cooperation with the Planning and Development Department. And I do want to emphasize that when we have a plan of development, which is called for in statute, that plan of development will be coming before the council for their approval, so that those development actions will be initiated by the DDA board, but will be acted on with the approval of the council. And that's really the big step here, in my opinion, is that the council be fully informed as to those actions and have a chance to weigh in on them and see what is really involved here. So it's pretty much a pretty clear document here. I do have a question, however, that came up in our meeting on Friday. So is Director Bloom unavailable? Is that the deal?
I think that Ms. Foster had indicated he was in a meeting and that was why he couldn't be here for this particular meeting. That's why Stephanie was giving the report.
Thank you. Well, of course, this memo is by Charles Bloom. So I would refer you to the third paragraph here. It says, the agreement also directs $250,000 if available of the mill levy to support the city's operation of the DDA program. And then you go to the last sentence. The city has previously committed general fund money to the DDA and will direct that funding. Well, this is a question that I think is very important for us to consider. Since there are a number of funds involved here, there is the mill levy collection that is ongoing. There is the city's funding of the $250,000 that is in our current budget. And then there is, as was mentioned earlier here, the reserves of the DDA board. So I think it's premature to talk about any sort of allocation of funds. And I particularly want to express my concern. I look forward to meeting with Mr. Bloom about this before our next meeting Monday night. But when we look at that election of those property owners in the district coming up in November, I think it's very important that we be careful about how we account for and spend those mill levy funds. And I am personally believing that it's a totally inappropriate and not unnecessary use of those funds for the purpose of hiring staff. It should be for the purpose that can be demonstrated to those property owners as you and I, Mr. Chairman, toured some of those projects that were well-intentioned and got great results. They just weren't quite legal. So when we resolve that, I think that'll be great. And I look forward to that campaign. More than anything else, it isn't that this divorce, so to speak, is because of any sort of intentional disregard for our processes. But it also, certainly in my personal opinion, as a board member, I think it's very important that we work closely with Visit Cheyenne on those promotions and events, since they were very successful. And I'm sure that we could do that on a contract basis, and that would be beneficial to everyone. And more than anything else, having been involved in downtown my whole life and having seen what we've gone through and the ups and downs of factors that we have no control over, of retail sales, of all sorts of things that affect rental property and in the business district. We are right now at a really important special time where I believe we're going to be making some big strides. And when those big strides come with the Reed Avenue corridor and with 15th Street, they're going to be coming to areas that have private investment, serious private investment waiting on us to fulfill our part. So I think that's really important to consider here, is that we are not setting the table with no guests. We're setting the table. We just got to deliver the dinner. And those guests, I believe, are hungry and have been very, very accommodating to us in waiting for us to finalize those details within the DDA district. So I think this is a tremendous opportunity. I think that there's no harm in this. And I really believe that, having been on the council, a downtown property owner, off the council, involved in these processes for a long time, one of the key things that probably is not going to show up on a balance sheet or in the press, but what we're going to have here is better communication with city agencies internally, so that city staff in the Planning and Development Office can help us coordinate with those other departments. And I mean, they're just a variety of factors that are attention to detail. And so I feel like we're really at a great time, and I speak very strongly in favor of passage of this memorandum. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Laybourne. Other comments or questions from members of the public? Hearing none, do I have a motion from the committee?
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Comments from the committee? I had a question, Stephanie or Robin, if to my colleagues' comments just now, could we get some, could the governing body get some clarification on paragraph 3 before Monday night? So I'm sure the two of you can discuss that with Charles, because I think that there were some very valid points brought up there. Thank you. If there are no further comments or questions on this item, all those in favor of the memorandum of agreement between the City of Cheyenne and DDA, please signify by saying aye.
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 As no one's opposed, that item moves forward. And as there are no further items on the agenda, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.